during the final excavations on Oak Island, a frightening discovery was made. Once again, a remarkable find has surfaced, and this time it provides conclusive evidence that Oak Island does indeed conceal wealth. During their concluding excavation of the C1 cluster, the Oak Island team uncovered something unsettling. They had been keeping a close watch on the progress, hoping that any significant developments would finally bring them closer to the treasure chamber or offset vault they have been chasing for so long. The B4C shaft is now nearly at its maximum depth of about 90 feet. This location is just 5 feet to the north of Borehole C. Here, they uncovered what may be the remains of 15th century wooden structures. Alongside that, significant traces of silver and gold were discovered, sparking speculation about the original location of the money pit and the possibility of a conduit leading directly to a treasure chamber. What initially seemed like a frightening discovery is now appearing to be far more exciting than anyone expected. But this raises a puzzling question. How could people in the 15th century have used wood to construct such complex tunnel networks? The purpose of such an effort is difficult to understand. Yet the discovery of a tunnel at a depth of 90 feet is seen as a major indicator that they are closing in on the original location of the money pit itself. Each new excavation increases the chance that precious objects could be uncovered in the very next grab or scoop. Since traces of gold were discovered in the water, many now believe it may have been transported through these tunnels into the money pit. The team unearthed a few random timber planks, but what truly stood out was a massive iron fastener. Its primitive craftsmanship suggests it is at least a century old. The fact that it predates the known discovery of the money pit leads the team to conclude that there could still be artifacts from that early period hidden somewhere below. Another remarkable find was a hand-forged spike, which quickly became a subject of fascination. Though crude in appearance, the spike was made of raw hand-forged iron and showed clear signs of age, making it a significant artifact that could shed new light on Oak Island's history. At around 130 feet deep in the B4C shaft, the crew hit solid granite, bringing excavation to a halt. With time running out, further digging in the money pit area cannot continue this year. Still, information gathered from the 5 massive steel tunnels already dug over the past months supports the theory that the legendary treasure, sought for more than 2 centuries, is still buried beneath Oak Island. The team knows they face challenges. Funding gaps, technological demands, and the limits of existing methods all stand in their way. Yet discoveries like the iron spike keep their hopes alive. Thanks to Carmen's expertise, this artifact is being carefully studied. His conclusion was that the spike was part of a medieval rock drill. Interestingly, 2 years ago the team had discovered swages, tools used to sharpen drills, in the same area. Carmen connected the two, suggesting the swages and the spike were once part of the same process. The rock drill, used for boring through stone and splitting apart boulders, has been in use for centuries. Its resemblance to medieval tools inspires new theories about the money pit's history and the wealth it might conceal. The presence of such an artifact deep beneath the island raises an intriguing question. Could this be further proof that they are inching ever closer to uncovering the legendary treasure? The rock auger is historically significant because it was likely used in the initial construction of the money pit. The very idea that a concealed chamber or hidden room could be waiting to be discovered only enhances the appeal of further exploration. As the team reflects on the many discoveries made across Oak Island, from the stone-paved section in the marsh to the ancient stone road, they can't help but wonder who might be responsible for the Oak Island enigma. Could they finally be getting closer to uncovering not only who engineered this mystery, but also what exactly lies buried within the money pit? Even as their quest continues, the Lagina brothers remain grateful for the unwavering support and attention of their loyal staff and dedicated audience. With scientific evidence indicating vast quantities of gold and silver beneath the island's surface, they have every reason to press on in search of the elusive treasure. Each new shaft, opening, or artifact offers valuable information, fueling their optimism that progress is being made. The discovery of the artisanal spike adds another piece to the growing body of knowledge. This tool, used to measure the precise elevations of tunnels, proves to be more than just an old relic. It's a clue that could reshape their understanding of Oak Island's history. The group intends to carry out further research, including carbon-14 testing, to better determine its age and origin. Marty Lagina, Craig Tester, Gary Drayton, and blacksmithing expert Carmen Legg returned to the Research Institute to study the spike found over 100 feet deep in the B4C shaft. For them, the mystery of Oak Island has become a captivating tale, one that only deepens with every passing year. Their discussions reveal a firm belief that gold truly lies hidden on Oak Island. During the height of piracy in the late 17th and early 18th centuries, Oak Island was widely thought to have served as a secure haven for pirates who operated along the eastern coast of North America and throughout the Caribbean. This belief has been tied to the island since the earliest days of its exploration. Could this be the very place where a pirate commander once hid his fortune? As the team continues their descent into the tunnels, the sudden flooding caused by Oak Island's unusual geology only adds to the challenge. The island rests on a glacial mound, which allows water to flood into the dig sites. Even though no treasure has yet been recovered, the legend of Oak Island has endured for more than 225 years, drawing visitors and treasure hunters alike. While the money pit first dug by McGinnis and his companions remains the central point of fascination, explorers through the centuries have expanded their search across the entire island. But what exactly was the treasure chest intended to hold? As a young man, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who would later become the 32nd President of the United States, became intrigued by Oak Island after hearing stories from his father, who had business ties in Nova Scotia. FDR followed the tale of the island's rumored wealth closely, though the onset of the Second World War in 1939 prevented him from ever visiting in person. His curiosity, however, never faded throughout his life. He wasn't the only famous figure drawn to the mystery. Hollywood legends Errol Flynn and John Wayne both funded expeditions in the mid-20th century, hoping to uncover Oak Island's secrets. While they didn't find the treasure, their involvement highlighted just how deeply this mystery has captivated the imagination of people around the world. With each dig, the evidence uncovered continues to fascinate and baffle in equal measure. Numerous theories, some plausible, others far-fetched, have been put forward about the contents of the Oak Island treasure. But among them, one explanation stands out as the most prevalent and the most plausible. It is widely believed that the Oak Island treasure could be the plundered fortune of a notorious pirate who operated between 1660 and 1730, a period often referred to as the Golden Age of piracy. During this era, famous pirates and buccaneers roamed the waterways of the East Coast, from Canada down to the Caribbean. Among the most feared of them all was Edward Teach, better known as the infamous Blackbeard. Piracy was so rampant during that time that even the major naval powers, Spain, England, France, and others with economic interests in the region, struggled to stop attacks on colonial ships returning to Europe. It wasn't until the signing of the Treaty of Utrecht in 1713, which ended the War of the Spanish Succession, that coordinated efforts to hunt down pirate ships began. These combined efforts eventually put an end to the golden age of piracy in the Western Atlantic. The history of the money pit itself, however, remains cloaked in mystery. Geologically speaking, some experts argue that the pit may not have been an artificial vault at all. Instead, the island's bedrock, weakened by its proximity to the ocean, is prone to erosion. This makes it possible for natural sinkholes to form when underground caverns and fault lines collapse. Still, despite this explanation, Oak Island's legend has never lost its appeal. The island's strange features continue to inspire speculation, fueling centuries of treasure hunting. And now, researchers believe they may have discovered a new clue that could change everything. After countless long hours searching Lot 13, a site just northeast of the swamp, Rick Lagina, Tom Nolan, and the rest of the team prepared to launch another excavation. They weren't sure what they would find, but when they unearthed clay, it immediately raised questions. This type of clay didn't seem to belong there naturally. They speculated it could be a form of blue clay, something that has played an important role in the money pit's history. Exploring a strange rock formation known as the Quadrilateral, the team uncovered what might prove to be a vital clue. At about 40 feet deep, traces of this same blue clay were present. This discovery was striking, because the very first serious excavation of the money pit carried out in 1804, revealed a layer of blue clay at the same depth. Back then, it seemed to act as a sealant, preventing water from flooding into the shaft. Even more intriguingly, researchers encountered the same substance again in 2018 while examining a ring-shaped stone structure known as the Eye of the Swamp. Could it be that the same builders who created the money pit also modified the swamp and shaped the quadrilateral? If that is true, it's a development with huge implications. The similarity in materials suggests a deliberate construction effort spanning multiple areas of the island. Blue clay, after all, plays a central role in the money pit's history. If you were trying to seal off an underground chamber or tunnel from flooding, blue clay would be an ideal material. This lines up with Rick Lagina's theory that the presence of blue clay might point directly to the existence of a buried structure. The question is, what kind of structure could it be? And more importantly, could something of immense value be hidden inside? The following morning, Rick Lagina and other team members returned to Lot 13 to continue their investigation. This time, geoscientist Dr. Ian Spooner joined them, ready to study the quadrilateral more closely. It was becoming clear that this mysterious feature could hold a crucial clue to the enduring riddle of the money pit. They felt it was highly improbable that the clay could have simply accumulated there on its own. To make things even stranger, they found clay of different colors mixed together with pieces of burned wood. These two elements did not naturally belong together, suggesting that something deliberate had taken place. One member of the group remarked that the clay appeared split up and misplaced, as if it had been intentionally disturbed. Whatever happened here had meaning and purpose, and with the story of Oak Island already so complex, every detail seemed to carry weight. Nearby, they noticed another intriguing clue. A metal artifact bore striations across its surface, markings that indicated it had been worked by hand. The thinness of its points suggested it was designed to be pushed into wood. Could this be a hand-forged iron staple or fastener? Since as far back as the 6th century BC, large metal staples have been used in the construction of both stone and wooden structures. If this piece truly is a manually formed fastener, it could be yet another proof that a hidden structure lies waiting to be uncovered at the quadrilateral site. The question is, what kind of structure might it be? Considering that blue clay was already discovered there, any materials or artifacts found at this location may predate the original discovery of the money pit, meaning they could belong to the earliest builders. This so-called mainstay is puzzling, but when compared with the immense effort that went into shaping the Great Quadrilateral, it feels connected to a larger, intentional design. Even history seems to hint at deeper connections. In the previous season of Lost and Founding, the team showcased George Washington's naval flag, which displayed a pine tree with 13 branches. Interestingly, a carving of a tree with 13 branches was found etched into a rock on Oak Island's northern side. The number 13 itself is thought to hold symbolic significance, and many believe it to be tied to the Knights Templar, an organization already associated with several of the mysterious artifacts uncovered on the island. Gary Drayton and his metal detecting team have also uncovered evidence of activity dating back to the 17th century. In the episode Dead Man's Chest from Season 5 of The Curse of Oak Island, they unearthed a musket ball, a common type of ammunition used at the time, along with what they believed to be a Maravedi coin. Similar to a find in the very first season finale, this piece of currency had been cut into smaller, easier-to-handle pieces. Such practices were common in the 17th century, and it was from this custom that the famous phrase, "pieces of 8, originated, later popularized by Robert Louis Stevenson's classic pirate tale Treasure Island. These discoveries added yet another puzzle piece to the theory that pirates once frequented Oak Island's shores. Could the treasure many believe is buried here be directly linked to them? The possibility prompted further investigation into the island's ties to piracy. In Season 5, Episode 3, titled Obstruction, the Lagina brothers and Gary Drayton continued their treasure hunt by exploring what became known as the Dunfield Spoils. Back in 1965, Robert Dunfield dug a massive hole, 100 feet wide and 140 feet deep, in an attempt to reach the rumored treasure. The excavation, however, ended in disappointment, as the hole eventually collapsed in on itself. The soil removed during this dig was left behind, later earning the name Dunfield Spoils. Using a metal detector, the Oak Island crew began scanning the area. Their efforts quickly paid off when they uncovered a pair of English coins. One bore the likeness of King Charles II, and the dates inscribed were 1673 and 1694. These coins, dating back centuries, not only provided more evidence of historical activity on the island but also reignited the possibility that valuable artifacts, and perhaps treasure itself, remain hidden beneath Oak Island soil. The discovery of these two coins on Oak Island, dating back to the 1700s, suggests that either English military soldiers or pirates frequented the area. As the search continues, the team doesn't just chase treasure, they also work to separate fact from myth. By visiting different parts of the island and speaking with locals, they gather clues about Oak Island's mysterious past. One of the most striking recent finds was the discovery of gold near the money pit itself. This suggests that more treasure may still be buried nearby, waiting to be uncovered. Despite setbacks and challenges, the crew remains determined to push forward with their investigation. Season 9 of The Curse of Oak Island was particularly significant as it disproved Fred Nolan's theory of an ancient Portuguese presence on the island while lending credibility to Zena Halpern's Templar map. This reinforced the team's confidence in their mission. The brothers also explored possible Portuguese ties, uncovering what they described as the top 10 connections. Among the potential players in hiding the Oak Island treasure were the Portuguese Order of Christ, the Knights Baronet, and even Prince Henry Sinclair. Along the way, the team encountered countless rumors and conspiracy theories, each one adding new layers of mystery. Still, through all the speculation, their conviction has only grown stronger. As the season drew to a close, excitement built for The Curse of Oak Island, Drilling Down, scheduled to air the following week from Traverse City, Michigan. In that episode, Maddie Blake would sit down with Rick, Marty, Craig, Alex, and Jack to review the incredible discoveries of Season 10 and preview what lies ahead. Meanwhile, the origins of strange energies and forces linked to Oak Island remain a topic of debate, not just among treasure hunters but even among NASA experts. These mysteries continue to fuel questions about what role, if any, such phenomena might play in the larger enigma of the island. Back at the Oak Island Interpretive Center, Carmen Legg, a blacksmithing specialist, met with Rick and Marty Lagina, Craig Tester, and archaeometallurgist Emma Culligan to examine the massive metal staple uncovered just the day before. Its connection to the quadrilateral, a curious geometric feature with no known counterparts on the island, only deepen the mystery. Theories abound about what kind of wealth may lie beneath Oak Island and how it got there. Among these, the William Phipps theory has gained substantial traction. Supported by compelling data, it argues that during the 17th century, William Phipps, a skilled explorer, may have been involved in hiding riches on the island. Financially backed by the English, Phipps operated in a politically turbulent time. When King James II, a Catholic, took the throne in 1685, he faced widespread opposition from the Protestant majority, especially among the political elite and aristocracy. This tension set the stage for plots against him, and possibly for treasures to be hidden away. Still, not everyone agrees with this theory. Writer and history enthusiast Hammerson Peters recently refuted the Phipps theory in a video on his YouTube channel. Drawing largely from the book Oak Island and its Lost Treasure, he broke down the arguments and counterclaims tied to the story. The difficulty in reaching a conclusion lies in the fact that so little early information about Oak Island's treasure hunting activity was ever documented. For decades, stories were passed on only through word of mouth. It wasn't until 1857 that the tale of Daniel McGinnis, the settler said to have discovered the money pit, was first published. 5 years later, one of the alleged original diggers gave testimony that further shaped the narrative, which eventually tied into the Enslow and Truro Company deeds. These fragmented accounts, coupled with centuries of speculation, have made Oak Island's legend one of the most enduring mysteries in history. The earliest settlers in the region told tales of a dying crew member from Captain Kidd's ship. According to the story, the man revealed that Captain Kidd had hidden treasure worth £2 million on the island. Captain Kidd himself passed away in 1701, but his name became forever tied to Oak Island's mystery. The most widely recognized version of the legend says that in 1799, Daniel McGinnis stumbled upon a strange dip in the ground while searching for a place to build a farm. Believing it might be connected to Kidd's treasure, McGinnis enlisted the help of two others, John Smith and Anthony Vaughan. Together, they began to dig. Just 2 feet below the surface, they uncovered a layer of flagstones. Early documents simply mention marks being found at intervals as they dug deeper, but later accounts claim that oak platforms were discovered every 10 feet. The walls of the pit reportedly bore tool marks and pick scratches, and the soil looked looser than the earth surrounding it. According to reports, the men stopped their digging at about 30 feet, spooked by superstition and dread. Another version of the tale, however, casts all 4 main characters as teenagers. In that telling, McGinnis first noticed the depression in 1795 during a fishing trip. The rest of the story plays out much the same, with logs discovered at intervals, but in this version, the group gives up after reaching the same mysterious depth. Excavations continued over time, with diggers reaching depths of around 90 feet. Along the way, they reportedly discovered log layers spaced every 10 feet, strange symbols carved into a large stone, and layers of charcoal, putty, and even coconut fiber. But when the shaft suddenly flooded with water up to 60 feet deep, their efforts stalled. Repeated attempts to drain or bypass the water failed, including one where a second shaft was dug, only to flood just as quickly. The Truro Company, founded in 1849, became the most notable of these early treasure hunting groups. They managed to re-excavate the pit to about 86 feet before it flooded again. Determined, they drilled 5 boreholes into the original shaft using a pot auger, but the results remained inconclusive. Centuries later, the mystery still grips explorers. At one point, excavations halted abruptly when what appeared to be a bone fragment was found. Every season, Rick and Marty Lagina and their team push further, determined to uncover Oak Island's legendary treasure. After nearly a decade of searching, they've brought astonishing discoveries to the surface, leaving both the crew and their fans stunned at how close they might be to finally solving the riddle. However, things take an exciting turn in The Curse of Oak Island Season 10 Episode 25, where new discoveries begin to connect all the pieces together. This raises the big question: are they finally close to locating the treasure? Fans are eager to find out, and the revelations keep coming. The upcoming episode promises to solve another enigma on Lot 5 as Laird Niven resumes his excavation work. At the same time, the crew investigates the mysterious, triangle-shaped marsh. As they dig deeper, startling information emerges, linking Lot 5 directly to the marsh. Meanwhile, the team's work at the Money Pit uncovers yet another remarkable discovery, fueling their belief that the treasure could be closer than ever. Marty, Craig, and Charles prepare to descend into the 82-foot garden shaft, a task they've been getting ready for over the past week. While some doubted the possibility of tunnels beneath the shaft because one side kept collapsing, Charles volunteers to go down first. After completing specialized training, he descends into the shaft to inspect its sinking corner. His observations convince the team to dig further at the bottom in search of tunnels. Marty, however, halts the operation temporarily, insisting on undergoing his own training before proceeding. While this unfolds, Alex, Rick, and Peter travel to Italy to consult Umberto Musa, a specialist in ancient coins and artifacts. Musa examines the coins and determines that Oak Island may even have ties to the Roman Empire. One particular coin turns out to be Roman, while Byzantine gold coins are weighed against another for authenticity. Back on Lot 5, Laird Niven's drilling uncovers another promising find, while Rick continues exploring Nolan's Cross. The team also investigates a circular depression in the marsh, where they discover ceramic shards and charcoal fragments, possibly the remains of a campfire or cooking pot. In the war room, experts examine a lead artifact discovered in the swamp. They believe it is a lead cross, most likely crafted in France, suggesting possible French involvement with Oak Island. Meanwhile, probing drills used at the garden shaft uncover small amounts of wood, pointing to the possible existence of a tunnel. Gary Drayton continues metal detecting through the excavation spoils and uncovers 2 large iron spikes dated to the 1700s. If verified, These spikes could have been left behind by the builders of Smith's Cove's flood tunnels rather than later treasure hunting companies. Later that day, Marty Lagina and Craig Tester join a war room meeting via Skype. They inform the team that they recently met with Jeremy Church, a geophysicist from Eagle Canada's seismic exploration company, who had previously appeared in earlier seasons. The data from the massive seismic survey of Oak Island's eastern half, first conducted back in Season 7, has now been fully analyzed. The results point to an anomaly about 60 feet deep near the cave-in pit's southeast corner. The anomaly looks linear and bears a strong resemblance to the Smith's Cove flood tunnel, appearing to lead toward the money pit itself. This discovery recalls earlier findings from GPR specialists Steve Watson and Don Johnston in Season 7, where multiple underground anomalies were detected near the cave-in pit. One was located at 82 feet and another at 91 feet, while exploratory drilling later revealed a sand-filled section between 99 and 109 feet below ground. Even now, Oak Island remains one of the most fascinating places in the world, a site where tourists can retrace the steps of past treasure hunters while marveling at discoveries that have shaped history. The island continues to remind us that there are still mysteries waiting to be solved, secrets hidden beneath the earth, and treasures in the most unlikely places.